is enough said.
Happy Friday, Miami Heat Nation. Your boy Ernest here. Back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Hope you guys are having an amazing Friday so far. The weekend's here. Let's get ready to celebrate. Now, please share that positivity. Smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell because 60% of y'all that watch these channels, these episodes, are not subscribed. So I would really appreciate y'all's support. Really helps me out. Now that we got that out the way, please join me as we go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Because this episode, you guys, I am very excited about. We ain't talking about rumors. We're not talking about, Summer League. I know a lot of things have been kind of boring for the Miami Heat. Summer League's been boring. We were 1-3 in Summer League. Kasparis Jonas has not really stepped up the way that we've all liked him to step up. The Miami Heat team is looking good for next season. We know that another trade can be made if potential, but right now we know the team that we have. So what I want to do, I want to go back in time. And I want to talk about some of the very best role players that the Miami Heat have had in the past. Now, look, I'll be honest with y'all. I know a lot of people that watch my channel, they're looking for rumors and, what's going on with the current Heat. But this is an episode for the real Heat fans. The Heat fans that have been watching this team like myself for a very long time. And this is for us. So I hope you guys really enjoy this episode. If you want me to do more like it, please let me know in the comments. But specifically today, I want to talk about the best role players that have been on this Miami Heat team. Not the superstars, the guys that have stepped up and were main reasons why we were able to win. Now, I'm going to do, in my opinion, top 5. And I want you guys to give me your top 5. All of us are different. This is my list. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just guys that I've seen that, in my opinion, that have meant something. Now, I did it from different teams. We've had different eras in this Miami Heat team. You've had the Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway era from 95 to 2001. You had the Dwayne Wade era from 03 until he retired in 2019. But within that, you had the Big Three era. You had the Shaq era. You had the Jimmy Butler era. So there's been a lot of role players that have really stepped up. And one guy that I want to talk about in this list, number 5, it's going to go to P.J. Brown. P.J. Brown was the power forward next to the Miami Heat. He signed here in the 1996 offseason. He played with this Miami Heat team for 5 seasons, and he was the perfect complementary next to Alonzo Mourning. Usually, the guy would average about 9 points to 11 points a game, 10 rebounds, a block shot. He's most famous for flipping Charlie Ward during the 97 playoffs, but this was a guy that was the measure of consistency. He was one of the first players that embodied Miami Heat culture. And for those that don't remember, a lot of people were bummed out in the 96 offseason because that's where we not only signed P.J. Brown, but we also signed Juwan Howard to be our starting power forward. And because the Miami Heat didn't include the whatchamacallit? Oh my God, what's that word? I'm brain farting. Oh my God. Like the extra, and there we go, the incentives. The Heat didn't count the incentives towards the contract, and they went over the luxury tax, so they weren't able to sign Juwan Howard. It was terminated. So you had P.J. Brown, who became the perfect power forward next to Alonzo Mourning. P.J. Brown is my number 5, especially for flipping Charlie Ward. F the Knicks. Number 4, ooh, this one was hard, you guys, but I had to give number 4 to Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, simply because, you guys, of what Caleb Martin did in the 2023 playoffs. I know Caleb Martin was not the guy who averaged 20 points per game, but he was the guy that did all of the dirty work. He was called and asked to do things that were not expected and were not of the norm. He was usually guarding the opposing team's best player, helping Jimmy Butler out. There was a lot of times that he was playing the position that was not his. He was playing the power forward position next to Bam Adebayo, having to guard guys that were much taller than him, much bigger than him. But you can't forget about that incredible 2023 playoff run. When Tyler Hero goes down, when Victor Oladipo goes down, Jimmy Butler is playing in godlike mode against the Milwaukee Bucks. But when Jimmy Butler rolled his ankle against the New York Knicks, he wasn't that same Jimmy Butler. You know, he was still having great spurts and great games, but especially in that Boston Celtics series, if it wasn't for Caleb Martin, I don't think the Heat would have won that series against Boston. The Heat were up 3-0, and then Boston came back and took it to 7 games. If it wasn't for Caleb Martin having that clutch-ass Game 7, scoring 25 points, I don't see us going to the NBA Finals that year. And in my opinion, and I'll still argue with this, Caleb Martin was the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So Caleb Martin gets number 4. Number 3, Mario Chalmers. Mario Chalmers, man. You cannot doubt Mario! That's my boy. I didn't have a YouTube channel back then, but Mario Chalmers during the Big 3 era, man, that was my guy. Dwayne Wade was my favorite player of all time, but I gotta be honest with you guys. I took a liking to Mario Chalmers when we drafted him in 2008, and that was my dude. I loved Mario Chalmers. I loved watching Mario Chalmers' game. I was really hoping that Mario Chalmers during the Big 3 era would take the leap like Rajon Rondo did with Boston, but he wasn't that guy. But Mario Chalmers fit his role to perfection. LeBron James and Dwayne Wade needed the ball in their hand at all times, and Mario Chalmers was that point guard that did all of the little stuff. He was a pest defensively, one of the best players that could steal the ball in the NBA. This was a guy that could hold down his own, and he was not afraid of the big moment. Game 4 in the 2012 NBA Finals comes up in mind when Mario Chalmers balls out for, I believe it was 26 points, hit multiple threes. He was never afraid of the big shot. Hit that big game-winning shot in college in Kansas, and he was always doing it in the NBA. And he showed a lot of times that he was never afraid to take that big step. Mario Chalmers is definitely my number 3. Number 2, Shane Badier. Shane Badier, guys. Love me Shane Badier, man. How can you not love Shane Badier? After the 2011 NBA Finals lost against the Dallas Mavericks, a lot of us thought, seriously, that he could lose? That he could lose with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh? Yes, because it's a team sport. It's not an individual sport. And if you guys remember, the Miami Heat signed Shane Badier to a 3-year, $9 million contract in the 2011 offseason, and Shane proved to be the missing link. This was a guy that you can play when you're playing against the LA Lakers. You can tell Shane, you guard Kobe. LeBron and Wade didn't have to guard the team's opposing best player. It freed them up. It freed LeBron to be that MVP player that he became in 2012 and 2013. Let's not forget that Shane Badier, back in 2012, was playing out of his position. This is when Spo started the whole small ball thing. I know that's normal right now in today's NBA, but back in 2012, it wasn't. Chris Bosh was playing the center position. Shane Badier was playing the power forward position with LeBron at the 3. And Shane Badier did one hell of a job. Let's not forget Game 7 of the 2013 NBA Finals. Shane Badier goes 6 for 7 for the three-point land and dominates when people were counting him out and saying that he was washed and he was done. He had something to prove. Shane Badier, ladies and gentlemen, is my number 2. Number 1. Well, before we go number 1, let's do some honorable mentions. Because I'm telling you, this list was hard for me, guys. I love role players. So I have so many other names that I put in this list. It was really hard for me to pick 5. Honorable mentions, Ray Allen, obviously. Ray Allen was here for 2 seasons, but if it wasn't for Ray Allen, that Game 6 3-point shot, we wouldn't have that 2013 NBA championship. Thank you, Ray Allen. Mike Miller, another one from the Big 3 era. Mike Miller, who didn't really live up to expectations when we first got him in 2010, but damn sure did his job in the 2012 NBA Finals against Oklahoma, hitting 7 threes on one shoe. Did the same thing the next year against San Antonio. For some reason, this dude doesn't know how to tie his shoes. He keeps losing his shoe, but I love me some Mike Miller. Duncan Robinson, a.k.a. Baby Dunk. That's another one. During the Jimmy Butler era, he was a solid role player, broke out as an undrafted player. Another dominant undrafted player I'm going to mention on here, Vashawn Leonard. Let's not forget Thunder Dan Marley, but come on. Oh, and another one that I put, He made my top 5 list, but he was a superstar in the 90s. But I also had to put 2006 Alonzo Mourning. You don't win against the Dallas Mavericks if Alonzo Mourning's not out there blocking 5 to 6 shots a game. That's just a fact. But number one, the number one role player, ladies and gentlemen, come on, Udonis Haslem. Come on, you guys. There is no way there is another Miami Heat role player that is better than Udonis Haslem, the cornerstone of this franchise, the player who was a role player for so many different eras on this Miami Heat team. Undrafted player that took his spot, eventually became the starting power forward when you brought Shaq. When this team got Shaq and traded for Shaq, a lot of people were saying that Udonis could not be the good power forward next to Shaq. That Shaq has never had a power forward that is succeeding under 6'9". Haslem showed them all wrong, won a championship with Shaq. Then in the Big Three era, when you get LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, there wasn't enough money for Haslem. He was ready to go to Dallas. But because Wade and LeBron were able to take slightly less money and Bosh, Haslem stayed for the less to build something here. That's our cornerstone, you guys. I understand that Dwayne Wade has a statue in front of the building. There is no reason why Udonis Haslem shouldn't have his. And I know some people will laugh at that. I know some people will say, because Haslem didn't do shit, averaged only 10 points and 10 rebounds. It's not about numbers. It's what you bring to a franchise. And Udonis Haslem was a pivotal part of this Miami Heat team. So this is my top 5, ladies and gentlemen. P.J. Brown, Caleb Martin, Mario Chalmers, Shane Badier, Udonis Haslem. You heard my honorable mentions. There's even other players, guys. Keith Askins, Isaac Austin, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. There's a lot of other role players. Maybe I missed one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Give me your top 5 all-time Miami Heat role players. I didn't put Bam and Tyler on this list because they ain't role players, so whatever. If you want to consider them role players, go ahead. But I'm talking about those role players, the 4th, the 5th players, the guys off the bench that do the nitty-gritty work. Let me know who you guys like. Give me your top 5. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue our push for 7,000 subscribers. I hope you guys like this episode. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, your boy Ernest out, and that is enough said.